Welcome back to Gloria and Jenny YouTube channel, and today we're gonna actually be doing urban legends. Are they urban legends?
Yes, scary urban legends from Japan. So the other day I actually saw a video, like those little animated ones, and the story was really interesting. It was a Japanese like scary urban legend. And
where did you watch it on though? Like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube? I mean Facebook.
Like on a social media site.
On social media?
Yeah, I don't know which one it was.
Okay.
But it was a while ago. So I've been wanting to do the Japanese ones, and I actually found other stories.
I've heard pretty good ones from Japan.
He's kind of rude. Ignore Haru making noise over there. But I actually didn't find that specific story. So maybe we'll do a part 2 in a couple of months. Let's get right into the video. Okay, so the first story is called Oiwa San. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but we will put the name right here and you guys could correct me if you'd like. I think that's how you say it, but I'm not sure. So Oiwa San is actually one of Japan's top 3 ghost stories. So I think this is like a very popular one that a lot of people know. The real Oiwa San actually died in 1636. And she is such a popular ghost in Japan.
So she's like the Llorona of Japan.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So she actually has her own like shrine and temple type of thing where people can go like visit her grave that is located in a temple. And also these like shrines and temples are dedicated to her. So Oiwa-san was actually in a very unhappy marriage. She was married to a samurai. Her father became aware of her being unhappy in this marriage, and he tried to actually help her get out of it. And the samurai she was married to actually unalives her dad.
Dude, samurais are like if you ever have heard about samurais, like they're very intense. Like they were very intense people. Like they were not a group of people that like.
Yeah, and so the way the dad actually tried to help her was by helping her escape and try to like get out of that situation, but unfortunately he was unsuccessful. She is forced to stay in this marriage with the samurai, and then his name was Iman, I think is how you pronounce it. I'll leave the spelling right here. And after a bit of time passes, she actually ends up getting pregnant and giving birth to a son while they're in a tough financial situation. So they're living in a... Okay, both of our pets are right here. Haru's right there, and then Meow Meow's back there. I don't know.
You can only see a ball or something.
So basically, she ends up having this kid, his son, and because they're having a very difficult financial
situation,
time period of their lives, he actually starts resenting her as if it's like
her problem,
like she brought this upon them by herself. So he ends up resenting her. And then he ends up meeting the granddaughter of a doctor. The samurai meets the granddaughter of a doctor who lives nearby.
Okay.
And this girl's name is Omi? And her name is Ome. She instantly falls in love with him, with the samurai. Yeah, with Iman or whatever his name is. She ends up instantly falling in love with him, and
that just sounds horrible.
What?
Because he's married.
Okay, so the granddaughter starts to pursue the samurai.
Yeah.
They get the doctor to prescribe an ointment to the original girl.
To the wife.
Yeah, to the wife of the samurai. And this ointment actually ends up disfiguring her whole face. Yeah. At that point, the samurai, just because she's not beautiful anymore, her face is disfigured, he ends up agreeing. Yeah, he ends up agreeing to marry the granddaughter of the doctor.
He unalived her dad.
Yup. And so he ends up marrying her because he's like, oh, she's younger and prettier. So he hires a man to SA his wife. For then he could basically like divorce her and say that she was unfaithful to him. Yeah. And that she like cheated on him. When he does this, the guy that is supposed to go to her and SA her, he ends up getting scared and terrified of her disfigured face. And he shows her a mirror. And when he shows her this mirror and she's able to see how she looks, she like lets out like a scream, and she's obviously unhappy, he ends up telling her the plan of her husband, the samurai. And from this, and also after seeing her face, she's just not in a good state of mind, and she grabs a sword and ends up
unaliving herself.
Yep.
They were intense people. Like, I bet you that she was probably also a samurai.
And so then she becomes a vengeful spirit. She's not wasting any time. She ends up going to her samurai ex-husband on his wedding night with the younger granddaughter of the doctor. She ends up going, and when he opens his eyes and he's laying next to her, he ends up seeing his ex-wife's face on the girl. And remember, her face was already disfigured and all of that. So out of like freaking out, out of fear, out of the chaos, he ends up grabbing a sword and slitting her throat. And then once
I don't mean it like this, but I mean it like this, like she deserved it.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
And so when he does that, and then comes to his senses, I guess, he realizes that it was
the wrong person.
He unalived his young wife. And so...
And what happens next?
And then it's okay, I'm gonna eat more. And then...
What are you gonna eat?
And then he tries to run away.
Because they're gonna unalive him.
And as he's running away, his ex-wife, Oiwa San, ends up chasing him, and she's just following him. And
the vengeful spirit.
Yes, and anywhere he goes, she's right behind him. She's following him until she drives him insane. And so that's the story of Oiwa San. And so she's just a vengeful spirit that is. So
does she only follow unfaithful men, or does she only follow her ex-husband?
I don't know. I only read about her story.
I wonder why they have a shrine for her then.
Should I search it?
No, well, I'm just wondering, because aren't shrines supposed to be for people to go pray and give a little prayer or whatever? I think that's what the shrines and temples are for. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Anybody who performs her story, or I guess tries to do reenactments of her situation and her life story, she ends up kind of creating
cursing them?
Yeah, cursing them that deaths happen to those who try to recreate it. And also, it seems like she's haunting the place where she used to live in. And then in 1879, a fire destroyed her shrine, which then they moved to Tokyo.
That's so weird.
They moved to another part of Tokyo. And then this shrine was destroyed again in the fire bombings of World War II.
See, but by being destroyed twice, don't you feel like that'd be maybe we shouldn't keep on recreating it? Curses? I don't know, that's just my...
Yeah, and they keep getting destroyed, which is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the story of Oiwa San.
Okay, what's next?
Alright, so the next story is gonna be...
Neat.
This is just a little, also another legend. It's just something they believe in. So
it's like a superstition?
Yeah, so it's called Hanako of the toilet. And then it says Toire
no Hanako-san.
Yeah, and so basically it's Hanako of the toilet. That's what it means.
What the heck, bro?
So let's go to story number 2. As everybody knows that ghost stories and ghost haunting bathrooms is a very global, universal thing, I feel, in a bunch of different countries. And I also remember when we were younger, we went to, I think it was Idaho. There's a lot of ghost stories about the school we went to, the elementary school, and also the middle school's bathroom or the high school's bathroom. That there was a red balloon, a ghost that haunted it. And so I feel like it is a very universal thing
to be afraid of restrooms.
Yeah, and to claim they're haunted by ghosts. So this story is an equivalent to the, what is it called? Bloody Mary.
Like when you say Bloody Mary 3 times in the dark.
So it's also very similar to the North American Bloody Mary and the light and doing something, or and she always appears, and people typically do this in the restrooms, around the same area type of vibe, same vibe type of thing. In elementary schools in Japan, if you go to the 3rd floor and then you head to the girls' restroom.
Does it have to be a girls' restroom?
Oh wait, yes, it has to be girls' restroom. At least that's what I've read. So if you go to an elementary school, you go to the girls' restroom and you go to the 3rd stall. third stall on the third floor, and then you knock 3 times on that stall on the door.
Before you enter it?
You'll open the door, yeah, before you, and you'll see a little girl that has a bob haircut, little bob haircut, and a red skirt, and that is Hanako. That's her name. It gets a little intense. Gets a little intense after that, so don't do this. She will drag the person who knocked with her bloody hands. She will drag them in, ask the person to play with her, drag you into the stall, and she'll look you in the eyes and say,
like my face looks really like oily. Like I'm not even joking.
and yeah, so she'll ask you to play with her.
What happens when you play with her?
So across Japan, this story can vary. It's never the same. And you know, that's what
Just like
happens
La
in
Llorona.
different regions. Stories are told differently, and the main vibe of the story is what I just told you. And so many say she died during World War II, and other people say she actually unalived herself after being bullied, like very intensely and
Yeah,
very
so they
bad.
have problems with that too.
Many people are scared, so they always just say just to be careful when you're going to the bathroom, because you don't know if you'll end up encountering her.
I feel like we should go to Japan and go into all of the third stalls.
And see if we see her.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to try that. What if you don't see her, but you carry a spirit back home for playing around with spirits?
You'd feel like if she's trying to follow you.
Why would I want to?
And it wouldn't even be a she. You know, how do you know?
Oh, and then in some stories they actually say somebody unalived her. So there's like it varies.
Yeah, I think it just depends on probably the province or I mean the what do you call it? The little towns you're at or whatever. I feel like it would depend on who you're asking for sure.
I want to know what she does.
Probably just scares people.
Oh, okay, her hobby is invading school bathrooms. That's what it says here. And her goal is to unalive those who summon her. That's her goal. So yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. To try to summon her. Okay, let's go to story number 3. And I feel like this is a very well-known one. Onna.
Kuchisake-Onna.
The Slit-Mouthed woman. The Slit-Mouthed woman. Mouthed. You know, like mouth ed. Mouthed. The Slit-Mouthed woman. The story begins with a very beautiful woman took place in the period of 794 to 1185. That's like a very long time ago. So I'm like, am I even
In the
pronouncing
beginning of the world.
Yeah, and this lady as well was married to a samurai. He was very successful during this time. You good? And so even though she was very beautiful, she was also very vain and unfaithful. And she actually ends up getting caught cheating on her husband, the samurai.
Does the samurai find them? Does it
Yup.
say?
Yeah,
Good.
her husband finds her.
Good. Unfaithful people need to have consequences.
And so her husband, you know, being a samurai, he was very, very enraged. He was angry. He grabs his sword and slits her mouth open. And then he looks her in the face and tells her, now who will think you're beautiful? Who's gonna think you're pretty? Yeah. And so after he does that, he asks her, he looks her in the face and asks her, who will think you're pretty now? Who will think you're pretty now? He asks her right to her eyes.
Right in the eyeballs.
Right to her eyes. From there, she became, I'm guessing this killed her, the cut in her face. You know, it was long ago. She probably bled out. So she becomes a vengeful.
Could you do that from just a split in the mouth?
He, with a sword, it opened her face. He opened her face.
Do you think so?
Yeah, she could have gotten like sepsis or something. Or is it septis? From then on, her spirit is as well a vengeful spirit, and she's just roaming the planet. She just ends up now roaming around. There has been a lot of sightings of her in dark alleyways in the night.
Okay, so we need to go to Japan and go to dark alleyways.
And typically these alleyways also are quiet.
Okay, we need to go to quiet alleyways. quiet and lonely alleyways.
And
I have heard of this one.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes, I have.
And so this woman will appear to people in an empty alleyway. She's wearing a very long coat. She's wearing a mask. And you know, I feel like in Asia it's very common to see people with masks. So she'll be like the only one in the alleyway with the person. She'll look them in the face and she'll ask them, "Am I pretty?"
And it doesn't matter what the answer.
And so
if
they answer yes, she'll take off her mask. And then she'll show them like her very gruesome looking face. And then she'll ask them now a follow-up question, and she'll be like, "Even now?" And then if the victim answers no, or if they try to like run away from her, she'll slash their face from ear to ear. So she'll kind of do the same thing that she has on her face. And then if they say yes again, she'll follow the victim home, and then she'll unalive them in a very brutal way in their home.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the answer is, she'll still hurt you.
A lot of the people who have survived her, they gave her very confusing answers, such as, "You're alright." Like, "You look alright." They don't give her a yes or no, a definite answer. So this answer kind of throws her off a bit, and this gives them enough time to escape her and run away. So basically give her an unclear answer, or like something that will kind of throw her off.
Maybe.
Sure, yeah, you look fine. Like, just throw her off a little bit. And it gives you enough time to run, but you still have to try to escape her at that point. So yeah, do you have any input on that story?
So I've heard that there's a specific park in Japan that she roams around at night. And it's in Tokyo. It's a specific park in Tokyo. So they say that the reason that she wanders more around there is because they don't really have street light, like lamps. So I say that she likes to be where it's dark and quiet. So they usually say that she'll appear there. And I have heard that they say that no matter what your answer is, she still will harm you. It just sometimes, just depending, like how Jan said, like depending on the answer, sometimes she will follow you home. So she'll make it long lasting. So like she'll make you feel fear because you'll keep on seeing her walking behind you. And then she'll unalive the person at home.
So I guess whatever they say, she'll still get them. It just depends if she'll do it instantly or if she'll just follow them home. Yeah. And typically, I guess she follows them home. What was the answer that they have to give? So when she asks them the follow-up question and she says, "Even now," if they say no or try to flee, that's when she'll unalive them instantly by cutting their face. But if they say yes, basically she feels like they're lying to her. She'll follow them home. But yeah, so I guess there's no good answer other than confusing her. But yeah, those are interesting stories. They're very different, I feel.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of rooted to similar mistakes people can make, like cheating. They're similar to that, but these are more like terror.
But if you think about it, I feel like it also sort of shows, it's almost like the same thing as Central America, that each of these stories, like the urban legends, have, that they're trying to make you not do something. So most of the urban legends in like Central America is like, don't go out late at night, ignore people if you see them, right?
That's true.
Because
because
you might be. So I feel like it's sort of the same thing. Like, don't be doing something that's also gonna like almost it's not gonna be beneficial to you, right? So it's just almost like like she was so like full of herself because she thought she was pretty that she would always be cheating on her husband and stuff like that. Like saying like that's a no, you know, like you shouldn't be cheating on people. And then but
it also brings in a modern lesson to not be in alleyways on your own.
And then I don't mean this in any disrespect at all, but Asian people in general, they care a lot about their physique. They care a lot about how they look. Like in Japan, they even have like it's if you gain a certain weight, you sort of have to
is it like to pay the fine? Or
like yeah, there's like a fine, you have to pay
tax?
something like that. So, but it's because they care so much. They say that it's because they want people to be healthy, but in reality, I feel like it's because they care too much about their self-image. Like Japanese people, there's a lot of things about Japan. There's a lot of things, you know? I feel like there's a lot of pros and cons, like, well, which I mean, there's pros and cons everywhere, no matter where you're at. But they care a lot about how they look. And I feel like that's one of the things that this shows, like the first story, they sort of made her disfigured. So almost, and that's something that made him not like her anymore, también. Do you know what I mean? And the girl did it because she purposely knew that was gonna make him not want her anymore, también. And then at the same time, he still like decided to cheat on her too and got married with somebody else. So it's just like I feel like both of them are being like cheating is a no-no, like you shouldn't be doing it. So I feel like even though they seem a little bit like weird, but I do feel like they have the same sense of like in Central America that they have there's a point to it. So almost being like
Don't
you
cheat.
don't cheat. Don't cheat. Don't do that. It's not good.
But yeah,
That's
let
what
us know what you learned from these urban legends, what you feel the message is. Like, what are they trying to convey to the listener, you know? And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed these, please let us know down in the comments below. If you'd like us to do one of your favorite countries, wherever you're from, please let us know in the comments below what country you're from, and if you'd like us to do a story from that country. And yeah, we'll see you in our next video. Bye!